the boy opens his eyes. He unexpectedly finds his long-deceased girlfriend sleeping beside him. When he sees the clock on the table, he suddenly realizes. He realized that he had been reborn back to 10 years ago. And today happened to be the time when the apocalypse struck. Zombies roamed, animals mutated, and the whole world instantly turned into a hell on earth. Recalling the scene from the past, Zhongming's mind buzzed. But then he had another thought. Now, with 10 years of apocalypse experience under his belt, isn't it like indirectly cheat codes activated? Next, the first thing Zhongming wanted to do was to shake off his girlfriend Baishur. Turns out, in the previous life, Baishur had already been cheated on by him. She has been having ambiguous interactions with another rich second generation, Qin Jun. Even though Zhongming fought tooth and nail to protect her initially, in the end, he was still ruthlessly abandoned by her. But the outcome is still satisfying. In the apocalypse, Qin Jun fought for just 3 cans of food. He directly traded them away to Baishur. And Zhongming also fulfilled the last bit of friendship, reminding her to be careful of Qin Jun in the future. He then turned around without looking back and left. He is preparing medicines and tools in order to cope with the upcoming doomsday. He then took out the inheritance left by his parents and spent money like water. He first went to the hospital for a shopping spree. Then he went to the outdoor supplies store to purchase a set of equipment. The most important thing is to make sure that the weapons are properly arranged. At this time, the boss was still happily thinking of making a killing. Little did he know that in a little while, money would become worthless. After all preparations were completed, Zhongming asked the driver to hurry and take him to Dingxing Villa because there was something of utmost importance in the apocalypse. That is the redemption wheel. In the days to come, resources, equipment, and special abilities all must be obtained by spinning the wheel. According to Zhongming's memory, the first redemption wheel is located inside Dingxing Villa. After he arrived at the main gate of the villa area, he was stopped by diligent security guards. But at this moment, Zhongming completely ignored the intercepting security guards and directly rushed in by swiping his card. After some twists and turns, Zhongming finally arrived at his destination. At this time, the security guard also caught up and scolded him with a baton in hand. But Zhongming paid no attention at all. Instead, he pointed to the sky, indicating for them to look over there. Not looking, they had no idea. Once they looked, they were scared to the point of peeing themselves. A battleship emitting a golden holy light suddenly appeared in the sky. 2 security guards quickly took out their iPair-14 to take photos upon seeing the scene. While they were busy posting on moments, Zhongming ran away. Because he knew that 5 minutes later, the world would turn into a living hell. And for now, the only thing he had to do was find the first redemption wheel. Later, Zhongming arrived in front of a villa. If nothing unexpected happens, the location of the wheel is right here. Then, Zhongming pretended to deliver a package. After ringing the doorbell, he directly broke into the house. At this moment, a beautiful young woman appeared in front of him. She looked at Zhongming warily. But at this moment, continuous explosions could be heard outside the window. Warships officially started their attack, continuously deploying Lotus Qingwen capsules onto the ground, just when everyone thought it was a terrorist attack. The capsules suddenly burst open with a cracking sound. Later, a green unidentified gas was emitted. Men were seen struggling in pain within the green gas. But the next second, the man's face suddenly became extremely grim. The boy woke up and found. He found his long-deceased girlfriend beside him. However, he did not feel happy. Instead, he woke her up immediately to break up with her. It turns out the boy found himself reborn 10 years ago. In the previous life, his girlfriend had betrayed him behind his back. And today, after being reborn, it happens to be the time when a great disaster is approaching. So Zhongming, without hesitation, bought himself a set of equipment and medicine. He arrived at a villa relying on memories from his past life, searching for the key to surviving the apocalypse. Redemption Wheel. Just as the hostess looked wary, explosions could be heard continuously from outside. Soon, green smoke kept spreading. When people inhaled it, they will turn into unconscious zombies. At this moment, Zhongming completely ignored the hostess and instead looked around. When he saw the kitchen, his eyes lit up. He then rushed towards the kitchen. At this moment, the kitchen had an extra mysterious machine emitting a blue light. Yes, that's right. It's the redemption wheel that Zhongming is looking for. I saw the hostess looking like she had never seen the world before. Zhongming made a simple introduction to her. In the underworld, if you want to obtain equipment and strengthening potions, you have to go through the redemption wheel. And the gray crystal in the middle of the wheel represents that this is a level 1 wheel, which is the lowest level. And the strengthening potion is in a level 1 wheel. It is one of the most valuable rewards. Potions that can triple or quadruple physical abilities. It is essential for people's early survival. And the grooves on the dial represent the need for the corresponding number of level 1 crystals to draw a reward once. But at this moment, Zhongming looked shocked. Because a regular level 1 wheel only has 5 grooves. But the one in front of him actually has 7 grooves. That means there are more important exchanges on this wheel than potions. Sure enough, there was a lucky card on the wheel. This card can provide additional special abilities. For example, enhancing the 5 senses and physique, or owning a companion beast. But the female protagonist still finds it hard to believe the nonsense Zhongming said. She ran directly to the door to find the security guard to complain. But the next second, a ferocious face appeared in front of her. Originally, the security guard had turned into a zombie. The security guard immediately tackled her to the ground. And it opened its blood-stained mouth. Incredulously, tears flowed out from it. At the critical moment, a trace of green light suddenly appeared. It's Zhongming. After it was resolved, Zhongming dug out a gray crystal from his head. The sharp-eyed hostess had already guessed the relationship between the crystal and wheel. But as soon as one wave subsides, another arises. 2 more zombies appeared at the door and lunged at the 2 people. Zhongming, on the other hand, made a swift turn. His fierce gaze flashed by. 1 slash. 2 slashes. He was decisive and efficient. Looking at the young man in front of her, the hostess couldn't help but show a hint of admiration in her eyes. After solving the present predicament, Zhongming finally remembered to ask for her name. When he heard her name, Zhongming looked shocked. It turned out to be Mu-Sinfai. The woman in front of him turned out to be the 9 stars powerhouse rumored to appear 10 years later. This woman actually dares to open the door at home wearing slippers. Sure enough, the moment the door opened, a fierce face appeared in front of her. Wearing slippers, she was instantly subdued by a zombie. The zombie then opened its huge blood-filled mouth like a large clay pot, planning to eat her slippers in one bite. At the critical moment, a boy in red clothes slashed by with a knife. He successfully rescued the woman and her slippers. The boy, who had just been reborn from 10 years later, Zhongming, was shocked when he heard the woman's name was Mu-Sinfai. Because the woman in front of him is the 9 stars powerhouse from 10 years in the future. Zhongming then explained the current situation to her. Due to a massive poisonous fog attack on Earth, most people have turned into zombies. Even the army completely collapsed just a few minutes ago. Now, the only supply of goods depends on this wheel in front of us. Just need to take the crystal off the top of the zombie's head. Place it on the groove of the wheel. Just fill the groove to be able to make one draw. After explaining to Mu-Sinfai, Zhongming starts going out to hunt zombies, as he has been reborn with 10 years of post-apocalyptic experience. Level 1 zombies are just like a piece of cake for Zhongming. He smoothly performs a spinning jump with his eyes closed. He instantly takes down 11 zombies. Plus the 3 crystals they got earlier. Enough for them to do 2 rounds of lucky draws. Time is of the essence. The 2 squatted in front of the wheel. As the crystal disappeared, The wheel started spinning rapidly. Next, please welcome the first lucky contestant. It turns out to be a few cans. Although in the apocalypse, cans can be considered luxurious items. But in the Mu-Sinfai household, getting canned food is obviously the most useless. Yi Zhongming handed the remaining chance to Mu-Sinfai to take a look at what the future 9 stars experts will draw. She carefully placed the crystal into the wheel and inserted the last crystal card. The wheel spun rapidly once again. When the results came out, Yi Zhongming was dumbfounded. It turned out to be the precious exclusion card. When drawing important equipment or skills later in the game, this artifact that increases accuracy can be described as crucial. No pain without comparison. Compared to Mu-Sinfai, who can win a cow in a supermarket lottery. I have never even tried. One more bottle. Since I was in my mother's womb. There is a reason to become a strong contender in the 9 stars. After a night of rest and reorganization, Yi Zhongming continued to go out to harvest minions. Mu-Sinfai took out a kitchen knife. Stay at home and take care of logistical support. After a fierce operation, Yi Zhongming basically harvested the zombies in the community. But the number of crystals is far less than expected. After a delicious, dark cooking session, the two of them continue to draw lots. Indeed, luck is also part of strength. She drew practical weapons 2 times in a row. And at this moment, Mu-Sinfai gestured for Yi Zhongming to draw the last time. Knowing that he was a jinx for winning prizes, he quickly declined. But Mu-Sinfai suddenly grabbed his hands. She closed her eyes and gently blew a breath. She spoke softly and said, "I will share half of my good luck with you." At this moment, Yi Zhongming blushed. His restless heart was like a deer in a panic. Chung Ka was stunned for a moment. Mu-Sinfai's divine maneuver next second. He instantly calmed his restless heart. In the year 2220, people can only obtain food through the wheel lottery. Due to a massive toxic fog attack on Earth, most people have turned into unconscious zombies. The remaining humans are like living in a hell on Earth. People can only hunt and kill zombies in exchange for enough crystals to participate in the wheel lottery. Yi Zhongming is reborn from 10 years later back to the time when the end of the world has just begun. With 10 years of experience in the end of the world, quickly find the first wheel. Also inadvertently recruited the strong 9 stars cultivator Mu-Sinfai 10 years later. Just as the two of them were drawing lots, Mu-Sinfai accidentally waved the exclusion card. A precious exclusion card was thus used by her on the most basic wheel. This divine move left Yi Zhongming speechless. After that, the wheel started to spin rapidly. The two can now only use their killer moves. Pray to the gods and worship the Buddha. People with a halo indeed shine wherever they go. Yi Zhongming, who has never even tried to say, "One more bottle," he actually scored with his first shot. He drew the most valuable basic strengthening potion, which at least tripled his close combat power. In the early game, this is definitely a life-saving artifact. Not only that, the resurrected Yi Zhongming has even sneakier gameplay. He took out the heparin he got from the hospital, then poured it into the pot with a potion. After slow cooking at 30 degrees Celsius, he successfully prepared 2 bottles of fortified potion. You can trade excess potions with others for valuable cards or medications. Mu-Sinfai looks at the knowledgeable boy in front of him. At this moment, Mu-Sinfai is already like an infatuated person. But at this moment, suddenly there came the sound of creaking from outside the door. At this moment, Yi Zhongming's face turned very ugly. Then he said coldly, "Something even more troublesome than a zombie has come, dot." Then he immediately grabbed Mu-Sinfai and ran up the stairs. The door kept banging as if there were hordes of things trying to break in. As expected, a group of virus-infected cannibalistic beetles swarmed in. They devoured the door completely, and then chased after Yi Zhongming and the others up the stairs. They reached a room on the 2nd floor and immediately used a wardrobe to block the door. But suddenly, with a loud bang, Mu-Sinfai was so frightened that she dove into Yi Zhongming's arms. She pressed tightly against his chest, her body trembling uncontrollably. And at this moment, Yi Zhongming displayed textbook perfect behavior. "Don't worry, I'm here," he said with super strong boyfriend power, instantaneously breaking Mu Sinfai's defenses. Afterwards, Yi Zhongming settled Mu Sinfai down. He walked out of the room alone. "The rest is up to me." With a loud bang, he shut the door directly. And the army of tiny bugs outside was already hungry and impatient. They tirelessly gnawed at the stainless steel door. And Yi Zhongming took out the strengthening potion he had just drawn. Emotion surged in one gulp. But the side effects of the potion were too great. The intense pain caused Yi Zhongming to kneel directly. In the midst of his struggle, little insects were already drooling behind him. With a swish, one of them knocked him to the ground. The other insects immediately swarmed in, ready to feast on the rich meal. But at this moment, a sharp sword pierced through the head of the little insect. Green blood gushed out instantly. With a crackling sound, the little insect's body was instantly separated. Not someone else. It's the strengthened Yi Zhongming. 200 years later, cockroaches are even bigger than humans. It turns out that the Earth has been struck by a large-scale toxic fog. Most people have turned into unconscious zombies, and even the plant life has undergone mutations. The remaining people can only move by spinning the wheel to draw survival supplies and enhance drugs. And just now, faced with an attack by cockroaches bigger than humans, Yi Zhongming quickly drank the just-obtained potion of enhancement. Under the strong side effects, making it difficult for him to take a step. Unbeknownst to him, danger was quietly approaching. But at the critical moment, Yi Zhongming's eyes glowed red. His whole body exuded a strong murderous aura. 1 slash. 2 slashes. The cockroach army was instantly chopped into pieces by him. But experience told him, to catch thieves, first catch the ringleader. So what he needs to do now is to deal with Cockroach Mom as a warning to others. Sure enough, don't speak of the devil in the daylight. Cockroach Mom seems to have heard Yi Zhongming's call, appearing silently behind him. It looks at the dead people in front of it. Cockroach Mom buzzes angrily. Then, without saying a word, it directly spits out green insect fluid towards Yi Zhongming. Its corrosiveness is no less than concentrated sulfuric acid. It sees that long-range attacks have failed. Cockroach Mom charges straight towards Yi Zhongming. And Yi Zhongming seems to have been waiting for a long time. It turns out that Yi Zhongming had already searched on Google. He found out that its weakness lies in its back. Then there was a click. Green blood gushed out in an instant. Cockroach Mom cried out in pain. Not only that, Yi Zhongming also drew circles on its body. He moved slowly with his left hand and right hand. Just now, the previously arrogant Cockroach Mom suddenly lost vitality. After the crisis, Mu Sinfai once again rushed towards Yi Zhongming with a strong reassurance. The two are about to start dealing with the gifts of nature. Due to environmental changes, people cannot obtain food through planting and breeding. So when the supplies on the market are almost consumed, food will become very scarce. And these jerky made from cockroach bodies. It is our important food source aside from the supplies provided by Wheel. After passing on the brewing method to Mu Sinfai, Yi Zhongming decided to go on a long journey to collect crystals and information. Now the vast streets are empty with various zombie bodies. At this time, a cry for help came from not far away. It turned out to be a girl wearing cool clothes. And Yi Zhongming covered her mouth the first time. It turned out that her cry for help just now had exposed the positions of the two people. One of the minions quickly grabbed onto the girl's few items of clothing. Fortunately, Yi Zhongming was quick and agile. With a swipe of his hand, he directly made it land in a box. But 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. A hero can't withstand a crowd. Yi Zhongming and his companion had no choice but to flee first. Luckily, fortune favors the prepared mind. They found an abandoned building. The two of them were able to take a temporary breather. But their happiness lasted only 3 seconds. In the second, The door unexpectedly was not closed tightly. The two could only continue to flee. However, not everyone has been strengthened like Zhongming, especially a girl dressed lightly. During the intense stair-climbing exercise, the girl started showing signs of exhaustion. And just at that moment, a minion tightly grabbed her foot. The boy had originally gone out to scavenge for supplies. Who would have thought that he actually picked up a girl instead, along with a bunch of zombies? So the two of them kept fleeing non-stop. But due to the girl's exhaustion, she was caught by a zombie as soon as she was caught from behind. Fortunately, Zhongming acted swiftly. With a quick motion, he saved the girl from the fire. And at this moment, a stream of light flashed across the sky. At once, he caught Zhongming's attention. It turned out to be a Mythic Realm key. The Mythic Realm key is one of the most precious things in the post-apocalyptic world. It is the only tool to unlock the hope of life in the Mythic Realm. And the resurrected Zhongming can be said to be sure to succeed. But in the moment he was distracted, a zombie actually planned to cut off his descendants. Fortunately, at the most critical moment, he promptly blocked his vital parts with a knife. At this point, Zhongming did not run away either. A mere dozen or so zombies were simply no match for him. As expected, in the blink of an eye, he dealt with them. Then the two of them arrived at the rooftop. Found the location where the key fell just now. It was behind a high school. He then tied the girl up with a hemp rope. He carried her on his back. Then he leaped up without hesitation. No need for any drafts. He performed a smooth 360-degree somersault without any splash when landing. He reached the destination successfully. However, they were unaware that someone was already monitoring them from a distance. After the thrilling scene just now, the girl began to trust the boy in the red jacket in front of her. She briefly introduced herself as Liang Qun, but before she could say more than a few words, a cry for help came from above the teaching building, and Zhongming thought of this location, where he could have a better view of where the key fell. So he told Liang Qun to hide herself. Then he showed off his barehanded climbing skills. He smashed a broken window, kicked in to take down a thug, saving a teacher and two students. As expected, the purple-haired teacher did see where the key had fallen. However, the condition for exchange was to rescue them first. But now Zhongming's strength can only save two people at most. After careful consideration, the purple-haired teacher is willing to sacrifice herself for the two students. Once Zhongming safely takes the two down the stairs, she writes down her location on a note to give to him. At this moment, Zhongming leans against the door. After listening carefully and confirming there are only 3 zombies outside, he opens the door. Then one zombie appears in front of everyone, but is instantly kicked away by Zhongming. He then takes down the 3 zombies in a row. He speeds away with the 2 students, leaving the purple-haired teacher shivering in the wind. Luckily, the zombies are all gathered upstairs. Otherwise, it would be hard for Zhongming, who is burdened with 2 liabilities, to resist. But at this moment, a terrifying feeling emerges. Zhongming immediately asked the 2 people to stop, because there was an unprecedented sense of danger ahead. But the corridor turned out to be unexpectedly calm. Even the 2 little brats suspected him of having a mental disorder. Zhongming began to doubt himself. But in fact, there was indeed a dark figure hovering above them. The boy unexpectedly stayed up all night, walking in the school corridors with 2 female students. And there was also a cold and eerie wind blowing around. Sure enough, one of the female students felt a chilling sensation at the back of her head. When she turned around, there was a big bloody mouth in front of her. And at that moment, a flying knife flew by. With a clicking sound, it chopped off half of the monster's upper lip. Zhongming's little flying dagger looked at the red lips wriggling on the ground. The monster finally realized that its mouth had been cut off. It kept screaming in pain. It rushes towards Zhongming without hesitation. Zhongming, who is unarmed, can only use his fists to fight it head-on. But obviously, the monster in front of him is not at the same level as the previous zombies. It is a mutated and evolved zombie iron arm. He was not given a chance to think at all as the opponent continued to attack fiercely to avenge the lip-cutting grudge. However, Zhongming did not just sit idly by. He countered with a spinning back kick, but Iron Arm just sneered in disdain. The kick didn't even touch its fur. Then it tightly grabbed hold of Zhongming's leg. It exerted all its strength and slammed him onto the ground. Meanwhile, the girl in yellow was already scared out of her wits, begging the girl with short hair to help her. But at that moment, the girl with short hair portrayed human nature vividly. She completely ignored her. On the other side, Zhongming also found himself in a predicament, with life and death hanging by a thread. With a bang, Iron Arm, who was thought to have succeeded, unexpectedly started oozing green blood. It turned out that at the critical moment, Zhongming took out the gun he had used to win the Wheel of Fortune earlier and killed Iron Arm with it. But at that moment, there was a thumping sound coming from the stairs. The gunshot seemed to have attracted other zombies. With Zhongming's current condition, he couldn't hold on for much longer. Just as everyone's faces were filled with panic, unexpectedly Liang Qun arrived. She immediately threw herself into Zhongming's arms. At that moment, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Liang Qun quickly said, "There was a sudden light behind the teaching building. All the zombies went towards the light source." Zhongming's eyes lit up. He had already guessed that there was a new wheel there. Shortly after, the group arrived downstairs. When they saw two students safely coming down the stairs, the teacher with purple hair didn't break her promise. She threw a piece of paper with the address of the Mythic Realm key to Zhongming. And now faced with two choices. One is to find the Mythic Realm key. The other is the new wheel. Considering he was accompanied by two burdens, he couldn't let them know about the key. Therefore, he decided to go to the place Liang Qun mentioned first. But almost all the zombies were inside. After settling a few people, Zhongming took out an 80-meter short knife and walked straight in. When Zhongming entered, the girl with short hair thought he was overestimating himself. In order to protect herself, she grabbed the girl in yellow, convinced her to leave Liang Qun behind. Otherwise, it would be too late once Zhongming provoked the zombies. Inside, Zhongming faced another fierce battle. A group of zombies surrounded him. But facing them armed with knives and guns, Zhongming, they couldn't even last 2 rounds. And Zhongming did not make a wrong judgment. It is indeed a new wheel in front of my eyes. In the near future, people will even rely on lottery to eat canned food. In the post-apocalyptic world where zombies roam, the remaining humans can only survive by hunting and killing zombies. Collect crystals to power the wheel in order to supply materials and food. And Zhongming discovered a special wheel during an operation by accident. And this wheel has only 3 colors. Therefore, it is called the 3-color wheel. In addition, there is a more colors wheel with more colors compared to the regular redemption wheel. The more colors wheel is very precious. Firstly, the quantity is 1/5 of the regular wheel. Secondly, it can redeem professions. Not only are there output professions such as blademan and archer, there are also support professions such as pharmacist and gourmet. In a post-apocalyptic world where the weak are prey to the strong, acquiring vocational skills is absolutely essential for survival. And outside the door at this moment, a chilling human drama is unfolding that is scarier than zombies. The short-haired girl rescued by Zhongming shows no gratitude at all. When she saw Zhongming entering the zombie horde to sacrifice himself, she immediately grabbed the girl in yellow and left Liang Qun behind. However, karma struck quickly. When they arrived at a stairwell, they encountered a zombie attack. It was a critical moment. The tease of fate always comes just at the right time. The girl with short hair suddenly fell to the ground. The girl in the yellow shirt immediately turned around and pulled her up. And at that moment, an even more terrifying scene was about to unfold once again. When the girl with short hair shed a tear that resembled a crocodile's eye. She threw the girl in yellow directly at the zombie. Then she ran away without looking back. Shortly after, all that could be heard were the heartbreaking screams coming from the girl in yellow. On the other side, Liang Qun, who was now alone, also encountered danger. These are desperados similar to zombies. In a post-apocalyptic world, where the military has collapsed, desperados are another kind of danger. When Liang Qin was about to be punished on the spot, Huang Maotu suddenly screamed loudly. "It's Yi Zhongming!" He plunged an 80-centimeter short knife directly into his hand. Before Huang Maotu could introduce himself, Yi Zhongming threw a punch with his fist before Huang Maotu could even say a word, plus a Foshan shadowless kick. He quickly took down two opponents. At this moment, the short-haired girl came weeping to Yi Zhongming, sobbing about the misfortune of the girl in yellow. When she heard that Yi Zhongming alone handled the zombie group, she immediately realized that she had a chance to survive only by sticking with Yi Zhongming. Later, Yi Zhongming arranged for the two to go to the location of the wheel first. He took off the crystal on the head of the zombie. He went back to save the fallen teacher Piao, who saw the teacher return safely. The girl with short hair rushed towards her and cried out about the tragic death of the girl in yellow. And she fell ill again, accusing Yi Zhongming of being at fault for not protecting them properly. This directly caused Liang Qin to have a heart attack. But the ending is quite satisfying. Yi Zhongming did not pamper her. "I can save you. I can also send you back." The girl, in order to survive, actually pushed her companion, who came back to rescue her, into the abyss with her own hands. Then she fled without looking back, leaving her companion to bear the heart-wrenching pain alone. After escaping, she even turned around and blamed Yi Zhongming, who saved her, for not protecting them well. But Yi Zhongming did not spoil her. "I can save you out. I can also send you back." Sure enough, zombies are no match for the horror of human nature. The world is truly the best mirror to reflect the demons in human hearts. After a series of farces, Yi Zhongming brought them to the three-color wheel. Let them take out the crystals they just picked from the zombie's head. Different from a regular wheel, the three-color wheel does not count based on the number of crystals, but measures based on the total energy provided by the crystals. Yi Zhongming put 26 crystals he collected into it. Afterwards, the wheel did not disappoint Yi Zhongming. It started spinning as requested. With a ding sound, the wheel stopped at the red area. Then a red box popped out. Seeing one's birth color, Yi Zhongming is full of expectations for a high combat profession. Who would have expected to open it and find an auxiliary profession called honored craftsman? And it's at the lowest level of trainee rank as well. This directly left Yi Zhongming puzzled. He wasted more than 20 crystals to draw this thing, emo directly in place. But he didn't know that the surprise was at the end. The 5 colors on the professional badge represent the 5 skills he possesses at the same time. The chance of drawing them is extremely slim. This directly pumped Yi Zhongming full of chicken blood. So he immediately summoned everyone to continue digging the crystals. But they were unaware that someone was watching them from a distance. It turned out to be Brother Wu, the leader of the 2 fugitives from before. When they saw them removing the crystal from the head of the zombie, he immediately called all his men together. It seems he has already guessed the secret of the crystal. On the other hand, Yi Zhongming handed the supply backpack to Liang Qin for safekeeping. He then used the artisan's forging skill. A delicate wooden spear was thus born. He handed the weapon to them for self-defense. He then set off on the road to find the key to the mythic realm. Soon, Yi Zhongming arrived at the spot where Teacher Piao had seen the fall. Just as he looked around, a woman suddenly fell from the sky. If it weren't for Yi Zhongming's reinforcement, catching her would have been extremely risky. But the woman immediately did a somersault. Then she subdued Yi Zhongming with a grappling move. But obviously, it was like showing a big knife in front of Guangong. She didn't even have a chance to speak. She was immediately subdued by Yi Zhongming's counter-grappling move, combined with a powerful wall slam, and brought under control. Upon finding out that the woman was actually a police officer, Yi Zhongming tactfully let go of her hand. Just as the two were introducing themselves, a dishonorable bullet flew straight towards them. Let Yi Zhongming go further on the path of rescuing the beauty. and the person who fired the gun. It is a death row prisoner, even crazier than the desperado. In the near future, people can't buy a can even with $1 billion. All supplies have to rely on luck. In the end of a world where zombies rampage and armies collapse, the prison guards were being chased and hunted by the death row inmates they were supposed to be watching over. But they were unfortunate to encounter Zhongming. One of the bearded prisoners was planning to go on a killing spree. When he was halfway through speaking, he was shot through the head. The other 2 prisoners immediately reacted. They were planning to suppress fire when they didn't realize that Zhongming had been waiting above them for a long time. Then he made a slow move with his left hand and right hand, taking down the remaining 2 people. The female guard found it difficult to imagine the scene before her. What exactly has a teenager gone through to kill so ruthlessly without hesitation? After dealing with the 3 death row inmates, Zhongming finally began to focus on the main task, finding the key to unlocking the mythic realm and starting a new journey. After briefly describing to the female guard, the 2 began a thorough search. Soon, the female guard delivered good news. Indeed, specialization leads to success. But the next second, when he saw the key in the female guard's hand, Zhongming looked confused. Obviously, he did not match the style of the mythic realm key. Then the female guard casually threw it away. Little did they know that this action would attract an unexpected guest. In the smoking pile of rocks, a creature with a green glowing eye faintly appeared. By the time the 2 noticed something strange, it was already too late. A wolf dog rushed towards Zhongming. It was a second-rank mutant dog. Zhongming immediately drew his gun to deal with it, but it was all too late. The bullets couldn't even reach the mutant dog's tail lights. And so, Zhongming was knocked down to the ground. Then, it opened its bloody mouth, ready to bite. The female guard was also scared by the scene in front of her, and let out a squeal. But the next second, the mutant dog acted as if it had seen its mother, constantly licking Zhongming's face. It kept wagging its tail and shaking its head. This immediately puzzled the 2 people who were still in shock. When Zhongming saw the scars on its tail, he suddenly realized all at once. It turned out to be the stray dog that Zhongming had saved when he was young. People gave him the nickname Lu Wei Di Huang Pill. She witnessed the unresolved bond between humans and dogs. The female security guard has changed her view on the cold and ruthless Zhongming again. That's it. The man, the woman, and the dog continue to search for the key to the mythic realm. But they are unaware that there is a mysterious and unwelcome guest lurking behind them. And just at this moment, a flash of golden light appeared. Looking at the golden light in front of him, Zhongming could no longer contain the excitement in his heart. He used his long-forgotten excavator skills acquired from graduating from the excavator school. In the end, he saw an ancient key emitting golden light. Sure enough, it's the mythic realm key that matches his temperament. The female guard beside him is busy making him happy without realizing that there's something pink and tender next to her. It is a giant mutated lizard. By the time the female guard reacts, it's already too late. And what awaits her is a big mouth full of sharp teeth. In the near future, the once adorable little dog. Most of the dogs have turned into wolfhounds, with bones protruding outward. And 90% of humans have turned into unconscious zombies. The remaining people rely on a wheel of fortune to obtain supplies. And Zhongming has just found the key to unlock the mythic realm, where the future lies. They were suddenly attacked by a mutated giant lizard, wrapping its pink tongue around the female guard, preparing for a meal. Zhongming suddenly appeared and swiftly sliced the unruly little tongue in half. Fortunately, he had utilized the strengthening skill of the craftsman profession in advance. He reinforced the 80-meter short knife. Otherwise, he couldn't even move this thick-skinned little cutie. The giant lizard, whose tongue was cut off, was thoroughly enraged. Its sharp claws were poised to strike. And at this moment, the Di Huang pill dashed out and bit down fiercely on one of the fingers. It bought time for Zhongming to counterattack. Yi Zhongming then lifted the 80-meter short sword in his hand. Then he ruthlessly stabbed into the giant lizard's carzalin eye. Soon, a gush of blood spurted out, causing the giant lizard to scream in pain. Yi Zhongming was also panting heavily, fighting against the colossal creature. His physical exertion was quite astonishing. The gigantic lizard did not give him a chance to catch his breath, seeking revenge against Yi Zhongming regardless of its own pain. Just at that moment, the Di Huang pill blocked in front of Yi Zhongming. Then it roared furiously, as a battle between the dog and the lizard loomed on the horizon. The gigantic lizard took the initiative, lunging at the Di Huang pill, but the Di Huang pill swiftly dodged with remarkable speed and fiercely sank its stainless steel teeth into the gigantic lizard. But the difference in size was a disadvantage. With a gentle shake of its head, the gigantic lizard easily tossed the Di Huang pill into the air. Then it unleashed another dragon tail sweep, slamming the Di Huang pill straight down to the ground. The pill, heavily struck, lost its initial momentum, looking a bit weary. While the pill weakened, the gigantic lizard became more and more courageous. It raised its claws, intending to settle the matter with the Di Huang pill. And just at that moment, Yi Zhongming once again wielded his 80-meter short blade to block its claws. But this was still futile. In just 3 seconds, he was thrown aside. Then, the giant lizard opened its huge mouth. Tears of helplessness flowed directly from its mouth. Suddenly, a 100-meter-long steel bar burst out without any mercy. From the top of the giant lizard, it was stabbed from bottom to top, piercing its skull. It was a female security guard who had been diving for a long time. After confirming with a glance, the giant lizard finally died of depression. Yi Zhongming emerged from the head of the giant lizard. Dig out a crystal. This immediately attracted the attention of the female guard. And Yi Zhongming's purpose was to use the secret of the crystal to seduce the female guard into teaming up with him. In the apocalypse, every additional unit of combat power means an extra glimmer of hope for survival. But he seemed to have underestimated the pride of the people's guards. The little boat of friendship can capsize at any moment. Helpless, Yi Zhongming had to activate the backup plan. Since ancient times, true affection can change a person's heart. After a thorough examination by the female guard, she finally said her name is Yi, and also expressed that she accepted Yi Zhongming's invitation. But they were unaware that at that moment, 2 people were secretly watching them. In the near future, people will regard money as dirt. In its place is this kind of crystal. Because in the post-apocalyptic world, where zombies roam and animals mutate, people have to rely on spinning the wheel even for what they eat. And crystals are the key to driving the wheel. Just now, Yi Zhongming and Yi worked together to defeat the mutated giant lizard. When they dug out a crystal, behind them, 2 people were sneakingly watching them, planning to quietly deal with Yi Zhongming and his companion. But just then, Yi Zhongming's Di Huang pill suddenly shot out and fiercely bit one of them on the hand. Incompetent tears streamed directly from the nose. Meanwhile, Yi appeared behind the other person unnoticed. When he noticed, it's about to enter the stage of lying on the board. Just like that, taking down 2 people easily. Under Yi Zhongming's pressure, I found out who was behind them. It was the fugitive leader Brother Wu, who was previously monitoring him. After learning the truth, Yi Zhongming didn't say a word and chose to directly attack Brother Wu's stronghold. On the other side, Liang Chuyin and a few others stayed in the office waiting for Yi Zhongming to return. At this moment, the girl with short hair suddenly opened her eyes, holding a polished glass shard with a malicious expression. She glared fiercely at Liang Chuyin, intending to deal with her secretly, and then steal the bag of supplies Yi Zhongming had entrusted to her. However, her plan was disrupted when Teacher Piao suddenly got up from the bed. Just then, they heard banging noises on the iron gate, resembling the arrival of intruders. This frightened the 3 of them, causing them to tremble in fear. Soon enough, the iron gate gave way under the pressure, and the person knocking on the door was Brother Wu's henchman. Seeing such a scene, the girl with short hair didn't say a word and ran off first as a sign of respect. Liang Chuyin and teacher Piao could only anticipate the consequences. But at this moment, the back door was also very powerful. It did not give the girl with short hair a chance to escape. She ended up with the same fate. However, when a person is at their lowest, they are invincible. The girl with short hair demonstrated her skill of betraying in the blink of an eye to the fullest. In order to show her loyalty, she even took revenge on Liang Chuyin fiercely. Brother Dongzi found this situation very amusing. However, these fugitives also harbored their own sinister intentions in secret. The leader Brother Dongzi has long refused to follow Brother Wu's command. He encouraged everyone to rebel. Then they returned to their base. When they saw Brother Wu was not there, they decided to ambush him. But they didn't know that. At this moment, Brother Wu, who had inspected Zhongming before, had already learned the secret of the crystal. He was quietly picking at the crystal with a trusted follower. On Brother Dongzi's side, a sudden situation occurred. He was hit by a chicken bone as soon as he stepped inside the door. It turns out it was Zhongming. Seeing the prey deliver itself to the door, how could Brother Dongzi possibly let him go? So he directly dragged Liang Chuyin out. He intended to use this to blackmail Zhongming, but he hadn't finished speaking. Zhongming suddenly rushed up to him. The boy was betrayed by his own teammates. After he stopped breathing, he unexpectedly found himself reborn 10 years ago. It was when the zombie virus was about to break out. In his previous life, he was very cowardly, which led to missing the early stage of brutal growth. With the cheat codes, Zhongming, starting over again, immediately grasped the key to the apocalyptic world. He drew a strengthening potion through the Wheel of Fortune. Facing low-level zombies and desperate thugs, Zhongming had no pressure at all. Surprisingly, Brother Dongzi dared to threaten him to kneel down using Liang Chuyin. That man's handsomeness only lasted for 3 seconds. In the second second, he was stabbed in the arm by Zhongming with a stainless steel pipe. He managed to save Liang Chuyin in the 3rd second. Brother Dongzi at that moment felt his soul being violated. He immediately called his men to surround Zhongming, only to see Zhongming's eyes glowing red. The legendary sandbag-sized fist was already in position. With one punch, 6 teeth were knocked out. Then he struck a pose just like Ip Man. I want to fight 10 of them. Spin. Jump. I close my eyes. After a simple line of lyrics, the crowd of little minions immediately begged for mercy on the ground. And at this moment, Brother Dongzi is going further down the path of seeking death, blooming for the 2nd time. He used Teacher Piao again to blackmail Zhongming into kneeling. But he overlooked the short-haired girl behind him, who doesn't back down easily. Seeing Zhongming return, the short-haired girl, who was about to switch sides in a split second, turned her gun towards him again. But man proposes, God disposes. Brother Dongzi eventually did a good deed as well. He helped Zhongming clean up the blood stasis in the team. Then he slipped, and eventually fell to the ground and couldn't get up. At this point, several people can finally relax their tense nerves. But they do not know that on the other side, Brother Wu has already collected enough crystals, successfully activating the 3-color wheel. Shortly after, a yellow scroll floated towards Brother Wu, and an old man sprang out from the scroll. Then with a ding sound, it was announced that Brother Wu had changed jobs to basic pharmacist. Brother Wu, who was full of anticipation, immediately cursed out loud. What a broken thing! But he didn't know. The surprise was yet to come. Xiao Huantu found the supplies backpack that Liang Chuyin had missed. When he saw a test tube containing medicine, suddenly, its detailed information was displayed next to it. He just then understood the usefulness of the pharmacist's profession. At the same time, he also understood the fundamental reason why Zhongming is so strong. Brother Wu then felt emotionally choked. When the medicine slid down the intestines to the buttocks, there was a feeling of being electrically shocked straight to the top of the head. Only Brother Wu's bulging veins and ferocious expression were visible. Occasionally white smoke would emanate from his buttocks. The whole person seemed to be burning in fierce flames. Little Huang was so panicked when he saw it that he immediately went to find help. However, as soon as he arrived at the door, a fist the size of a sand pot blocked his way. Upon closer inspection, he found that it was actually a mutated zombie beast. Before he could regain his composure, the zombie beast had already raised its fist. In the moment of impending doom, Little Huang kept silently praying in his heart for Ultraman to come and help him. Sure enough, a miracle happened. But the arrival was not Ultraman. The arrival was the enhanced Brother Wu. This muscular man suddenly shed purple tears. Just because he secretly drank a bottle of purple cola earlier. His body felt like it was struck by lightning, constantly emitting smoke. Not only that, the sudden appearance of the zombie beast made things even worse for them. Just as the zombie beast raised its fist the size of a sand pot, the muscular Brother Wu stepped forward at a crucial moment. He managed to withstand the zombie beast's pot-sized fist with just 5 fingers. The disdain and arrogance in his eyes were palpable. And the next second, the zombie beast was slain on the spot. The already arrogant Brother Wu became even more unruly. But he was unaware of it. The resources he painstakingly gathered have already been swept clean by Yi Zhongming and others. Yi Zhongming and a few others brought supplies back to Mu Xinfai's villa. They planned to introduce Mu Xinfai to them. But upon entering, they found the villa in a mess. There was a blood handprint and a note left on the refrigerator. This is the message left by Mu Xinfai for Yi Zhongming. Tell him that the supermarket has new wheels. After Yi Zhongming and a few others took a short break, they set out to find Mu Xinfai and the new wheels. And at that moment, Mo Yi began to fulfill the role of a good guard for the people. She took out the most precious treasure of the guard bureau, equipped with A-grade protective functions. It is the best choice for escape in this post-apocalyptic era. Encountering zombies feels much better than playing GTA 6. The tactile experience is so much more immersive. But the next second, a large wave of zombies kept coming at them. However, they looked more like they were panic-stricken and trying to run away. Sure enough, there was a big guy chasing them from behind. The newcomer turned out to be a mutated white ape. At this moment, Yi Zhongming's face darkened. He knew very well that their current strength would be hard-pressed to confront it. But it was already too late. White Ape had noticed them. Yi Zhongming immediately shifted into reverse gear and sped off in retreat. But unfortunately, he had been taught to drive by a math teacher. He crashed into a utility pole in no time. Before they could even report to the insurance, White Ape leaped over. It smashed fiercely towards the front of the car. Yi Zhongming locked eyes with Yi Zhongming. But the next second, Yi Zhongming immediately went crazy and turned the steering wheel. A dragon-like sidestep, trying to make White Ape dizzy. But it didn't work as he wished. So Yi Zhongming let Mo Yi take over the driving. And he was imitating Jackie Chan, the big brother. He stepped out of the car and gave White Ape a kick. But while the praying mantis hunts the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind, White Ape's tail quietly twined around Yi Zhongming's leg. He forcibly pulled Yi Zhongming out of the car and threw him heavily onto the ground. If Yi Zhongming hadn't taken the strengthening potion, this move probably would have taken him away. It stared at Yi Zhongming lying on the ground unable to move. White Ape revealed a satisfied smile. Then it displayed a victorious posture. After pounding its chest twice, it was preparing to deliver the final blow to Yi Zhongming. But just at that moment, White Ape suddenly came under attack. The boy was driving without underwear. He was pulled out of the car by a White Ape, thrown fiercely on the ground, just as the White Ape was about to give him a pair of underwear. Suddenly, 3 gunshots from behind stopped it. Our people are good guards, Mo Yi. White Ape, whose underwear delivery skill was interrupted, let out a roar. Then it rushed towards Mo Yi within 7 steps. The gun was just for show. In less than 3 seconds, White Ape arrived in front of Mo Yi. The thick-skinned White Ape is not afraid of Mo Yi's bullets at all. Instead, the bullets only enrage it even more. With a roar, the White Ape kept shaking the military truck, throwing Teacher Piao inside onto the ground. Then it raised its small paws and swiped at Teacher Piao. Anyone who sees it would feel the pain. And at this moment, a whistle sound came from nearby. The whistle sound instantly caught Whiteape's attention. It's Yi Zhongming and Di Huangpil. Only to see Di Huangpil directly charging towards a difficulty level as high as 5.2. Ants climbing a tree. Moved by Whiteape. In the blink of an eye, it climbed to the top of Whiteape's head. After a roar from it, it harshly bit onto the Whiteape's back, causing it to continuously spin around trying to shake off the Di Huangpil. At this moment, Yi Zhongming made a sudden dash forward. Yi threw the gun to him. He then performed a somersault and landed, taking the pistol. He immediately used the weapon enhancement technique from his craftsman skill. Upgrade the pistol's penetration and stability. And at this moment, the Di Huangpil is in a dilemma. It was mercilessly knocked away by the Whiteape to 100 meters away. Just as Whiteape was preparing to beat up the single dog, Yi Zhongming stopped it with a gun. And before Whiteape could react, he directly shot the white bone on its back. The Whiteape, who should have had thick skin and strong flesh, instantly collapsed on the ground. It turned out that the vital point of the Whiteape was its spinal bone on the back. After dealing with the Whiteape, Yi Zhongming immediately checked on the situation of Liang Chuyin and the others. He accidentally witnessed a scene that children shouldn't see. Due to Teacher Piao's deep wound, physical sutures are needed. However, the key anesthetic is currently lacking. So Yi Zhongming decided to split up. Yi, who is more agile, was tasked with continuing to explore the supermarket. He himself took the remaining 2 people to search for medical supplies nearby. He soon arrived at a community hospital. Yi Zhongming just rushed in. A haze appeared before his eyes. He was suddenly attacked. After the haze dispersed, in front of me is actually an ape turtle crocodile, different from other mutated creatures. The ape turtle crocodile does not belong to Earth. It is an extraterrestrial being that came with the apocalypse, collectively known as the guardian beast. Places with guardian beasts often have special material rewards. But with Yi Zhongming's current combat power, he is not yet a match for it. And Teacher Piao is also barely hanging on outside. But this is also the only way to enter the medicine storage room. Just as he was in a dilemma, a sly idea suddenly emerged. In the near future, even the little puppies will look like this. The teeth of the gorilla will also grow outward. Not only that, the crocodile also carries a large turtle shell. It has become an ape turtle crocodile. Yi Zhongming knows he is no match for it. But he must pass through its location in order to get the medicine to save people. So he came up with a plan to capture it with wisdom. He took out a pile of ordinary bows and arrows and iron nails. He activated his own craftsmanship skills. He merged the homogeneous main materials together. In the end, a shiny golden bow and arrow was born. Additionally, a large metal net is also required. This requires the artisan skill of inlaying. It involves merging and using 2 completely different materials. So Yi Zhongming synthesized a metal mesh using iron wire and environmentally friendly mesh. After all preparations were ready, he immediately got to work, placing 3 sharp arrows in each corner. The large net formed successfully suppressed the movements of ape turtle crocodile. And Yi Zhongming took advantage of this opening to immediately rush into the medicine storage. He searched for appropriate medical supplies. But he still underestimated the ape turtle crocodile, which broke free from the large net with just a struggle. Appeared behind Yi Zhongming. Fortunately, Yi Zhongming was quick-witted. He blocked the door in time to escape a disaster. But at the same time, he also blocked the escape route. At this time, ape turtle crocodile roared angrily, constantly scratching the iron door with sharp claws. The piercing sound reached Liang Chuyin's ears. Then she rushed into the hospital regardless of everything. She found an alligator with a tortoiseshell on its back scratching at the door incessantly. She thought to herself, Yi Zhongming must be trapped inside. Yi Zhongming's situation is not optimistic. Ape Turtle Crocodile broke the window of the pharmacy. The breach is only a matter of time. And just at this moment, Yi Zhongming saw that Liang Chuyin was actually hiding in the back. 1,000 grass mud horses surged out in her heart. How did this stupid woman get in? And at this point, the situation has already reached a critical stage. Ape Turtle Crocodile is only one step away from capturing. On the other side, Liang Chuyin found 3 eggs not far away. So she came up with a plan. This is the only way to save Yi Zhongming. She only saw her running towards the egg at the fastest speed. Then she shouted at the Ape Turtle Crocodile. She successfully attracted its attention and swiftly rushed towards Liang Chuyin to buy time for Yi Zhongming to escape. But Liang Chuyin was already in imminent danger. The Ape Turtle Crocodile swiftly arrived in front of her like a bolt from the blue. Just at the moment it reached out its claws. Liang Chuyin remained calm in the face of danger. She chose to go after its eggs. Let the 3 eggs roll in different directions. And she ultimately made the right bet. That's it. The 2 of them successfully escaped from danger without any major risks. After helping Teacher Piao deal with the wound, he is going to meet up with Mo Yi to investigate the supermarket. But they don't know that Brother Wu, who has been strengthened, stumbled upon it by accident. They found the wheel in Newmanhwa supermarket before him, and at this time, Mo Yi also arrived at this supermarket after a thorough investigation. As expected, the red thread of destiny brought them together again. In the near future, people have to rely on lottery to eat a hot dog sausage. In a world where zombies roam, the wheel becomes the key to survival in the apocalypse. Strengthened Brother Wu also